In this tutorial, I'll be showing you how I make my doormats. Hey, welcome back to my channel, Unique World, and if you are new, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. First thing first, you're going to need some freezer paper, and I am using the 12 by 24 Cricut mat, and I am going to place the freezer paper on top of the mat. Now I'm just going to smooth the freezer paper on the Cricut mat. And now I'm just cutting the freezer paper, and I'm going to also cut around the Cricut mat to make sure that there's no freezer paper hanging over the mat. In this particular mat, I'm just going to be using simple words to cut out on the freezer paper, and the font is called Impact. You can customize your cutting setting to freezer paper, or you could just use your dowel and you can use the regular paper, and it won't cut too deep into the freezer paper. Now I'm just going to remove the tag from the doormat, and I got this one from Walmart for just $5, and you can also get it for like $5 as well at IKEA if you aren't able to find one at Walmart. Make sure you gently remove the freezer paper from the Cricut mat, and all you're going to do is remove the letters from the freezer paper, because you're going to be using this as a stencil. And also make sure when you are removing the letters to save the insides of the letters, because you're going to need that for making sure that you capture the letters correctly. And you can see that I'm placing the insides of the letter on top of the mat to save for later. Now I'm just going to grab some tape, and I kind of want to just rub it across the mat to make sure that if there's any loose debris on the mat, it's removed, or you can use a lint roller as well. Now, using painter's tape is definitely optional. I was actually thinking about using spray paint, and that's the reason why I put the painter's tape on the mat, but you definitely do not need it if you're doing it the way that I'm going to be showing you. And right now, I'm just using my Cricut heating press, and I'm just pressing down on the freezer paper onto the doormat. And now I'm just going to stick the insides of the letters onto the mat, and I'm also going to heat that up as well. And you're going to know when it's good, because you're going to see that the freezer paper is actually stuck onto the mat just by the heat of the Cricut heating press. And I set my heating press on 330, and it doesn't take long for it to stick onto the doormat. Okay, so there's all types of paint that you can use, but I suggest that you use some type of exterior paint, because this is the paint that you're going to be using or having the doormat outside and in all sorts of weather. So you want some type of permanent paint. A lot of people use acrylic paint or acrylic permanent paint, but I personally prefer exterior paint. And I just had this around the house, so I'm using my wood exterior paint. And what you want to do is make sure that you dab the paint on the doormat, because you don't want to do any type of brushing of the paint, because you don't want it to mess up the stencils. So you want to make sure that you kind of like dab the paint onto the doormat, or where it shows the doormat.
Ryan Little.
And this is what your doormat should look like once you've painted the inside of the letters. And you're going to wait for about 15 minutes before removing the stencils. And when you remove the stencils, you're just going to make sure that you're very careful when lifting up the stencil. But first, before you lift up the stencils, I forgot that you need to go ahead and remove the insides of the letters first. Now it's time to lift the stencil up, and you're going to lift it up very carefully. And you're going to notice that the stencil is actually pressed on to the doormat. So this is the nerve-wracking part, because you want to make sure that the paint did not bleed all over the doormat and it is painted correctly. So here we go. And it looks like it's all done correctly. But wait, don't just go just yet, because there's one more step. Now you're going to grab some type of clear coat, and I'm using the Rust-Oleum clear coat, and this is what's going to help make the paint be more permanent. So it kind of seals the paint inside of the doormat to last a much longer without just having the paint. So this will help make sure that the paint stay on much longer. And yes, this is it, you guys. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Peace.
Ryan Little.